Hey mates, how is life behind bars? Not these bars, but these bars. If you have been following me on Instagram, you will know that I picked up this Triumph 1200 Rally Explorer just over a week ago. And if you haven't been following me on Instagram, I'll show you a few clips now of the delivery. I bought the bike from Sutton Motorcycles in Tamworth, so I thought I'd give them a quick shout out on here. No, it hasn't been given to me. I'm not that kind of YouTuber. As a lot of you will know, I put my money where my mouth is. Once the KTM went, I knew I had to look for something else. If I'm honest, my heart was screaming to buy a Ducati V4S. That's what I want, but the business was saying, no, get the Triumph. I've got to be honest, I actually love this bike. Now, I didn't say that about the KTM, did I? I think it's a great bike, it's a cool bike, I did enjoy riding it, but it wasn't enough for me to say, okay, I'll take the KTM instead of the GS when I go on my 2-week road trip to Corsica, for instance. This, I am seriously considering it. Now, if I can get the sat-nav side of things sorted on the Triumph, then this will definitely be going with me to Corsica in September, without a doubt. Using just a turn-by-turn navigation on here is just not good enough for me for planning road trips. So I'll be looking to use my phone. I've ordered the new EvoTech mounts, which by the way, EvoTech, so I'm saying it's probably a little bit too early, but fingers crossed, I will be stocking EvoTech products on a bike thing in the very near future. So since the bike arrived, I've only put 50 miles, 51 miles on it to be exact, just taking it out for a spin, seeing what I think to it. I absolutely love the ride of this bike. It is a great bike, without a doubt. It feels every bit as good as a GS. I'm not calling it a GSA killer or anything like that. All right, the jury is still out, but it is a fantastic bike. The engine on it is bliss. The quick shifter is incredible. I'm really, really happy with it. It's just the navigation side of things. I'm going to have to come up with a plan. Do I put a zoomer on there or something like that? Or do I do the navigation through like my route app, through my phone or on a Zumo? The only thing with the Zumo side of things is I'm not too keen on having to not have the functionality of the wheel that you get on a BMW GS. I'm using the wheel on my GS all the time when I'm on road trips, especially when I'm riding on roads I've never ridden before, mountain roads. I like to scroll in and out. The sat-nav is in my peripheral vision just below the line of the road, and you can get an idea of what the corners are like that are coming up. So you're not going around corners like you're on a 50p piece. You can go around them nice and smoothly because you get an idea of what that corner is going to be like. I'm telling you now though, I really, really want to take this to Corsica in September, and it's going to happen without a doubt. Even if I have to rely on my mate who's on a GS in front of me and he's got his Garmin 6 on his bike using the Wonder Wheel. So since I did the first 51 miles on this bike, I've come back, I've been tinkering with it, trying to configure out the controls. I'm struggling with getting all the information on the screen that I want so it works perfectly for me. For instance, having the speedo, rev counter, fuel gauge, odometer all on the screen at the same time seems to be a little bit of a feat. So I'm hoping they're going to come up with some update in the future so I can have all that information, including tyre pressure. To get to these readouts, you have to go through menus and sub-menus, which means you're taking your eyes off the road and your concentration off the road. So that's actually a key thing for me. I want to be able to access that crucial information that I personally want, like tyre pressure, fuel gauge, odometer. Probably not as important, but I'm used to seeing that on the GS. But I want that information very quick at literally one touch of a button to flick through some simple menus like you get with the GS. Don't seem to have that on here. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Time will tell. So we have already stripped the bike down. When I say we, it's not just me anymore. As a lot of you will know, we've got Jo in the office and she is managing all of the admin. She manages all of the orders that we get coming in every day and keeps everything in check there. Then we've got Tom here in the workshop. He's only been with us a few weeks, but he's certainly learning everything that he needs to learn. He probably knows more than me in some respects when it comes to bikes. He is a previous BMW GS Adventure owner. He's now really into his Norden, so he's got a Husqvarna Norden 901, which is a beautiful bike. We've had that in here as well, working on that. Since we stripped down the Triumph, we've managed to get the founder of Hex back in here. If you remember when I got the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S, Stefan from Hex, he came down here, spent a day or two here on the farm at a bike thing, and he reversed engineered the 1290 Super Adventure S, which some of you out there have already got the the easy cans on your bike. And that was all down to the initial reverse engineering that went on my own personal KTM that I had here at a bike thing. So now we're doing the same thing here with this Triumph. So this has now all been reverse engineered. I can't give you dates, I'm afraid. I know this is going to be like, when's it coming out? I have no idea. I'm not even going to speculate dates. It could be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I don't know. I know there's a lot of work still to be done to actually get that easy can on the shelves so you can start adding accessories to your brand new Triumph 1200 and the 900. So that bike's already been reverse engineered. I know of that. So it's been really interesting taking the bike apart, seeing how it all comes apart and it all goes back together again. You'll notice if you look behind me at the bike, I've already taken the OEM Triumph fog lights off. Why? Because they're useless. So there we go. They're very cheap in my opinion. I don't like the look of them. They're horrible, they're small. I'm sure we can put something much better in that same spot, like a D3 fog or a D3 driving spot on that same position. The only thing what I have discovered is when we unplug this fog light, it does throw up a CAN bus error on the dash. Now, if you don't turn the fog lights on, well then you don't get a CAN bus error. That's a good thing, because usually when you unplug something, the CAN bus error sometimes appears straight away, whereas at least it doesn't come on unless you actually ask the fogs to be turned on. But we're going to try and see if we can put a Denali pod in place of that, literally try and plug and play it, maybe take the plug off the Triumph wiring harness and putting on a Denali plug so you can just plug it directly straight into the bike's wiring loom. We're going to see if that does the job. However, that is only going to limit us to on and off when we have the driving lights on. Now, one of the cool things with this bike, which I really love, I love the headlight. It's great. And you have two different settings on this bike. You can have like a running light, a DRL running light, which is super bright, or you have a driving light. When you flash your flasher in DRL mode, well, the flasher won't stay on high beam. It will just flash. But then if you flick the switch across to driving lights, you can then activate dipped and full beam, just like a conventional motorcycle or car. But then you can't flash. You can flash, but you've got to remember to flash on and then press it again to flash off, if that makes sense. But I think you're going to find more people are going to be riding this with the standard DRL on. It's actually super bright anyway. So what I'm hoping is we can have the DRL for daytime use, always have the DRL on, and then fingers crossed, hopefully, when it gets late at night and the sensor on the bike senses that it's now nighttime, where instead of changing that DRL to a driving light, well then that's when we get our Denali lights coming on. Because of the technology between the EasyCam and the bike, we can activate our Denali pods to come on at night time with the DRL, because the DRL looks fantastic. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So we've had the fuel tank off this. We've literally stripped all the panels off. We've taken the petrol tank off. We've had a look underneath to see how it all comes apart. It looks pretty simple. What I have discovered is there's not very much room under there to put the EasyCam. We can fit one on there. Whether we can get double EasyCam installations on there, I'm not too sure, because there's not a lot of room in there. But I have found a way how we can thread the wires through so they're running along the same paths as the OEM harnesses under the fuel tank, or in this case beside the fuel tank, but underneath it, beside it, so we can then pop the wires out at the front where we're going to be mounting extra light pods. So I've already had some ideas about extra visibility for the bikes to help us be seen. For me, I quite like the idea of putting some T3s up here on the handguards. They're going to fit there really, really nice, just using the straightforward flush mount. But I was also thinking about putting some T3s and hiding them behind these grills just here. Not blocking them, because the air needs to get out there, because with the Triumph Tigers, the air comes in the front and the radiators are actually side mounted. They're kind of side slung like saddlebags, and the air then comes out of the side grills just here. But what I was thinking is if we were to mount some T3 like rock lights, so we could put lights behind here so you can't see them, but it will light all of this grill area. So we could have them as like a DRL. So rather than actually having a light you can see, you've got light coming out of the grill, which I quite like the idea of, because there's plenty of space behind here where we can mount little T3s behind here, each side, and then the grills will just light up amber, which I think will look quite cool. And if we want to, we can program that amber light to flash when we indicate left or right as well. It just give a little bit more presence on the road as well, I think, because it won't just be little lights, it'll be like a spread of light behind the grille, which I think might look cool. It might look completely naff, but we will find out, okay? But with the Explorer version, we obviously have lots of options when it comes to the crash bars in terms of mounting extra lights as we wish. Now, if you are watching this and you've got the 1200 or you're getting the 1200 Rally Pro or the 1200 GT Pro or the GT, try and remember all the ranges, with the 20-litre tank, well then you'll notice that the crash bar configuration is slightly different to the Explorer. So this is obviously the big one with a 30-litre tank, so it's a kind of like a direct comparison to the GS Adventure by BMW. Although the crash bars look similar, they are different. You'll notice with the Explorer, the actual upper and lower crash bar connect, and there's a black sleeve which covers over the actual connection of the crash bar. Whereas if you get the aftermarket crash bars by Triumph for your Rally Pro or your GT or GT Pro, well then the actual upper and lower crash bar don't connect. They're two separate bars. You can have upper without lower, which I think looks a little bit odd, or you can have lower without upper, or you can have both, but they don't actually connect. But nevertheless, a bit like the GS, they have the same. You can have lower by BMW, and then you can get aftermarket upper bars fitted for the GS with the 20-litre tank. But you can obviously mount crash bar light mounts anywhere on the upper and lower bar, so you can mount light pods of your choice. Right, so this video is, I'm hoping it's going to be nice and quick, just so you can see a Bike Thing has taken delivery of a new Triumph 1200 Rally Explorer. We're working on it, guys. We're going to be bringing new products for it. There's going to be new content coming constantly. I know I've said it in previous videos, but if you haven't already, please get over to my Instagram channel. I need that channel to actually grow and get more traction, because I'm actually posting more and more on there all the time. We're going to keep posting on YouTube, but YouTube is a bit of a slow burn. You know, the videos will eventually come to YouTube, but sometimes they take weeks after the events actually happened due to all the editing. Instagram is very much right there on the spot. I edit within a matter of seconds on my phone. I post it on my stories. Instagram is very much right now, so I can post stuff on there straight away. So if you get over to Instagram and look at the stories, I put highlighted reels on there. There's already a highlighted story for the Triumph 1200, so you can see everything that's happened since we took delivery of the bike. No, since I even ordered the bike, you can see everything to do with this 1200 Triumph. And if you navigate across the website, as of today, right now, what date are we? Monday the 6th of June, 2022. I've got no mention of a Triumph on the website at all. It will be coming. I literally need to close myself in a darkened room for a week to update and populate pages on the website so you can see all the new bikes that we're going to have coming, because the Harley Davidson Pan Am, that is something which is imminent. There's lots of work and research and development going on there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear an announcement very soon with regards to an easy cam for the HD Pan Am. I don't have all the details on that, I promise I really don't, but I've got a feeling it's going to be very soon, and obviously we're going to be stocking bits and accessories for the Harley Davidson Pan Am as well. And then we've got the Triumphs, and the 900 Tiger and the 1200 Tiger, and then after that I think we'll be looking at possibly the Husqvarna Norden 901, because Tom, who works here, he's got one, so when Stefan was over here last week, we reversed engineered the Norden as well, to try to see if there's any similarities between the KTM 890 and the Norden 901. And yes, there is. There's actually quite some differences between the two, which was a bit of a surprise for all of us. All that information will be coming later. Anyway, meanwhile, stay safe behind bars, and I'll see you in the next video.